Welcome to What's in the DVD Box podcast. The only podcast asking what is in fact in the DVD box. Introducing your hosts, Jonathan Lind and David Winkler. Now, welcome to the pod.
Welcome back to What's in the DVD Box podcast. David, what's in the box this week?
Die Hard, Jonathan, the greatest Christmas movie in the history of Christmas movies.
Love it. Making a statement off the rip. How did this get into the box of DVDs?
Very simple answer. It's one of the greatest action movies of all time. So when I'm walking around Walmart, looking around for what DVDs are going to have to be in my collection, I see Die Hard, have to put it in there. My excitement for this week is you've never seen this movie before, Jonathan. So tell me what happened with this movie.
Yeah, so I think let's talk about the movie, and then I'll decide if it's a Christmas movie or not, and we'll put an end to this debate. I'll bury it thoroughly. This movie was a lot of fun. This was a fantastic action movie, and obviously watching it, 30 years later, 28 years later, there's a lot of cultural relevance that is like, oh, hey, we use that, welcome to the party, pal gif all the time at work when things are just going sideways. So a lot of it was viewed through that of like, oh yeah, okay, great. Now I understand that reference, which is nice. As someone who grew up not watching a whole lot of movies, especially not R-rated movies, this was one of those movies that like, hey, I've always heard good things. Never saw it. Never
had a chance to get after.
So this one for me, it was like, yeah, I don't know how I wouldn't have this in my DVD box, for sure.
Yeah. Give us a synopsis. What happened during this film? What was it like experiencing it? You said 28 years later, 38 years later, because it was released the same year I was born, which made me feel very old. But also, good things happened in 1988 is what I'm saying.
That's true. I was also an 88 boy. So
yeah, great year.
What
might be the best year.
What a Christmas miracle.
What a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, so let's just go off the rip. It's okay, so John McClane's a cop in NYPD, and he's coming to LA to visit his estranged wife at a Christmas party. So he sits down and he's talking with some weirdo on the plane and doing the plane scene, and he gets into the party eventually, kind of meets up with his wife. Things are like, oh, hey, they might work it out. And then they kind of just immediately fall back in the same fight. And then the German terrorists attack. They just roll up, calculated, precise. They know exactly what they're doing. They roll in and, lock the building down, take control. And really it's Christmas Eve. And this is the only company that's like left in the building, up there, halfway up. And they take everyone hostage, and then they start working on this bank vault. They're looking for these bonds, and you've got some iconic, guns, you got some iconic lines, you got an iconic villain, yep. You got an iconic protagonist. I think that it really hits kind of the hero's journey where, okay, the terrorist attack, Bruce Willis, John McClane, he kind of has to dip and like, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? He's just trying to call the cops. Yeah. And he realizes he's not getting the cops on site. And so he's got to kind of just take control and take over the situation. And it's a lot of fun. You kind of go with him, and it's a nice mix of like, okay, the hero's going to save the day, yep. But also he gets hurt, also he, takes some hits. And so there's still an element of suspense where it's not just, he's automatically winning every single fight single-handedly without trouble. So there's some, there's some tight moments. There's some suspense. There's the classic, like, main bad guy is kind of chasing him around, the stalking sort of thing, which is kind of a staple of those 80s, 90s action movies. And then you finally get the showdown. And Finally, he dispatches. He gets, actually finally gets the LAPD out. Starts talking with them. They failed a breach a couple times, and really, John McClane just sort of saves the day.
He does, and then a nice Christmas redemption arc at the end.
And of course, you got the family reunion at the end.
Yeah,
they're back together, and buddy he's talking to, he gets some redemption too.
Yep.
After some hard stuff, and
yeah,
that's the movie.
That is the movie. So many classic action tropes happening. A lot of this movie started. You're going to get explosions all the time. You're going to get some air vents. You're going to get. But there's only one Nakatomi Plaza. That's at the end of the day. You're never going to get. I just love saying Nakatomi Plaza.
It's a great name.
It's a great name. All right, so so let's hit on these scenes here. What was the first, as you're going and watching this? What's the first part that really stood out to you during the movie as it's going through? That this is going to be a different type of action movie.
Great question. I was watching the movie. Initially it's like, okay, we're good. Okay, this is. He's talking with his wife, and I like some of those scenes typically in movies, but it was like, it's not terribly gripping. But for me, the first scene where I was like, pause, let's watch this whole scene again, was John McClane's upstairs, and the first German gets sent up, and brother walks in, he not a care in the world. He's dripped out in a gray sweatsuit. Like, I kind of want that sweater. It's a crew neck heathered gray crew neck sweater, little bit of a collar.
Yeah.
He's got Coke bottle glasses. Yep. He's got the H&K MP5.
Just
and
at a hip carry.
At a hip carry.
He doesn't need to put that up. He doesn't need the sights.
He is not concerned at all for this little rat in the 38th floor or whatever floor they were on at the time. He's got a gym bag, carrying a couple mags. Yeah. We find out later he's carrying a couple mags, a Zippo lighter, and a radio. Yeah. Tactical gear, we don't need any of that. Wow. Does not a care. We don't need to reload fast because we don't need to reload at all. He walks into the middle of this floor, says what he's going to say. Hey, time's up. We're done. And then he does the HK slap.
Yeah.
So he's walking into the room, unable to fire his gun. That's how dripped out he is. He knows he's better than John McClane.
Yeah.
In his mind, it's settled. So, and that was kind of the first scene. It was like, all right, we've got something here. And, kind of sit up in the chair like, oh, what's going to happen? Buddy gets smoked. Of course, you see John McClane take him down. Yeah. And from there, he sends the guy down, and he's like, oh, surprise, I've got a machine gun now. Yeah. Like, oh, he's not only winning, he's going to just pick a fight.
Yeah. Ho, ho, ho. Christmas reference in there for anyone keeping track. But yeah, that scene, watching it again, I was like, man, these Germans are very German. Just this, he seemed like he was 7 feet tall, blonde guy walking in with the the hip carry was so low that you're like, he's not even going to aim here. He's just going to, you hold the trigger down and you just kind of point around and it shoots what it shoots. That's classic 80s. Yeah, and no tactical gear, bulletproof vest. That's dumb. Why would the Germans need that? I loved it. One of the things that off the rip that gun on the plane, always a nice treat that tells you this was made during before 9/11.
Yeah,
that the whole setting up that he's, if you know Die Hard and you're like, or you've heard of it and you're like, oh, this guy's a bad bad mother trucker, and then he's afraid on the plane and he's riding the front seat of the limo, and he's just kind of this like everyday guy, kind of not schlubby, but almost like borderline schlubby type of loser dad guy. That's what they're trying to set it up.
You kind of get him in the everyman, like this. This guy's a cop, but it's not like he's some hero.
Yeah,
it's not like he's coming in and he's bigger and stronger and faster and more well equipped than everyone.
He's not a 7 foot tall Germans walking in just so cool, calm, and collected. just shooting people left and right as they're walking in, And the bad guys on here, just as they're introduced, they seem like they're going to be a problem the entire film, and that's how I like my bad guys. I don't want some weak bad guys. I want some good henchmen. I want a very charismatic British guy to plan everything out, and that's what I want my villains. And then whatever the protagonist, or if you talk to some people, John McClane's actually the antagonist in this movie. Hans Gruber is a protagonist, and John McClane is just sitting there messing up all of his plans the entire movie. Yeah, I mean, he just wants a nice Christmas present of $600 million in untraceable bonds, as we all do.
That checks out. That checks out for sure. Because Hans Gruber comes in, and he's also one of those villains that, in some ways, he doesn't estrange himself from the audience because he takes hostages, but he's respectful. Like he's, until he, offs the head guy.
Yeah.
But he's like, hey, we're not trying to just come in and kill everyone willy nilly. We're trying to just get in and get out with what we need. Now, you got to wonder, once they get the bank bonds, then what happens?
Well, I think they're trying to kill the hostages on the top of the roof as well.
Yeah.
They're
eventually.
But he seems so cool doing it.
But that doesn't really unfold until later.
That's true.
Right? So you kind of are like, oh, this guy, he's got a nice suit. He's got a good taste. He obviously knows his suits because that is a thing. And
he's quoting Alexander the Great.
The benefits of a classical education. And I was like, I kind of agree with that sentiment. Classical education.
Classical education.
Awesome. Oh wait, this guy's a bad guy. Well, hold on a minute.
Wait. You're too likable, buddy. I mean, and then I do, as I do like with my villains too. They set up the stakes. Give me the codes. Oh, you're not gonna give me the codes, and he shoots the guy right there. The stakes got to be high off the rip, and it makes the villains very believable.
Yep.
I do think the choice of not having shoes for your hero the entire movie is great. It's just chaos off the rip, him shooting the glass, and everything. It makes it so it just seems like the odds are stacked against him the entire time. That's what you're setting up the stakes. So when whatever comes in the end, it gets better and better.
Which I think is both, to me, more hey, John McClane's the protagonist. The odds are stacked against him.
Yeah.
And also kind of the hero's journey, where it's like he could have, tried to call the LAPD, been unsuccessful, and then just like, I'm gonna hole up, like the chief of the LAPD wanted him to do. It was like, hey, just hang tight, we got this. And he kind of sees it as, you guys can't even breach glass. Like what are we doing? So to me, he's a protagonist. He's the one on the journey to save the day, and
and he is. You get a sense of like he's fighting for his marriage, and this is what good writing is. I think is you're all of the movement of the characters makes sense logically within the story that you've already got.
Yep.
Why is he staying there? Well, he wants to win his wife back. He came all the way from New York to L.A., which he obviously didn't want to do if he doesn't want to fly. He's looking at all these California people being like, this is ridiculous. He wants to be back on the East Coast. But he's there for her, and now he's going to go through whatever to do that. And, he has enough skills to, like, not run away, and it makes it so that you're believing that he wants to like push through all this pain. Like he's going to do anything to save his wife. He already saw the guy get shot. So he knows that these guys mean business. I mean, the Germans always mean business. So, I mean, maybe they didn't have to shoot the guy, but for the rest of us, it was all good. Yeah. So what are some of your favorite characters that you came across in this movie?
Well, we already had, German henchman number one.
Yeah.
I think the the interaction of that whole crew is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Especially when, they're initially like cutting the telephone lines and he's trying to be calm and methodical in German. And then his buddy just comes up with a chainsaw. I was like, hey, you're taking too long. I'm cutting everything. Which is just, it's like, you don't need it, but it is the sign of good writing.
Yeah.
Where you have different characters with, different ways of approaching problems that are just going to do it, even if it's not, hey, this is not optimal for him to just, like, what, how and why does he have a chainsaw on this op? It doesn't really matter because he uses it in a way that tells you this guy probably just carries a chainsaw every time they go out.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, of course he's going to just say, you're taking too long. I'm doing this. I love that interaction. So the interactions between the terrorist squad was awesome. I also thought that like once you got the first like roof call, John McClane goes on the roof.
Yep.
He calls off, hey, Channel 9, this is emergency line. Yeah, I get it. That's why I'm calling you. Oh, we're going to arrest you. Like, yeah, please do. Please send the whole LAPD and arrest me. That would be great. We've got a situation here. And the cop that ends up coming out, cases the joint, says, hey, we're fine. John McClane throws a body onto his squad car, and now he's in it. Once they make contact, I think that's one of the things that really is a really high level, maybe not high level. It's something that really brings the movie together, to bring the people on the outside together with John McClane on the inside, connecting them, also with the hostages on the inside and what's been going on there. So that dynamic between, John and I forget, I'm blanking on the policeman's name.
Al Carl Weathers from Family Matters is what
discount Carl Weathers. Al, between John McClane and Al, it really moves the plot along because also you have the fun element of like, okay, Hans Gruber is listening in to this conversation too.
Yeah. Well, so that was going to be one of my questions for you on this movie is knowing what like a caricature of what Die Hard is, explosions, yippee-ki-yay, you probably knew all that, but there's some good writing and some good like, hey, here's this dad guy who's trying to fix his marriage in the course of like an 80s action movie. I mean, I watching again, I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of like, if not heartwarming, a little more humanity in the movie, in your action movie than maybe you were thinking. But what did you think about the actual writing? And
the movie that I compared it to was like a John Wick. From more recently. I thought this movie had significantly better writing than any of the John Wicks that I've seen.
That's a hot take.
Because you have a lot of different characters, a lot of different motivations. And you do have that, like, there's a little bit more of a transformation of multiple characters.
Yeah. Right?
You have John McClane obviously going from like, hey, I'm just trying to win my wife back, trying to get the LAPD in here, to, okay, no, I'm gonna do everything in my power to save the day. You have his wife who is taking on her maiden name there in LA, and she comes around at the end and takes the McClane name back. You have Al who's like, hey, I just push papers. I can't draw my weapon, because of what this incident that happened all the way back. It was real sad. To he saves them at the end again, pulling his weapon. So like there's redemption, there's redemption. And then, obviously John and his wife get back together. So I thought there's like that human sentimentality as a part of it that, I secretly love.
Yeah.
But still it's like, this is an action movie and there's no reason why I could say, hey, let's throw on Die Hard with the boys. And like, no one's really going to say no. And so to me, that's like a great package of a movie.
Yeah. Like
really awesome. And yeah, I thought it was, better than the John Wick movies, at least in premise.
I think you're right. I mean, I think lots of people like the John Wick movies and they think, oh, killing the dog, and this is what happens after the fact. But this is better writing, and the villain is a high mark for me. Yeah, one of the best scenes in the movie is when John McClane stumbles on Hans Gruber, and you're like, what's going to happen now? And then he pulls out an American accent, tries to trick him right away, and you're like, okay, dang, all right, what's going to happen here? And then John McClane gives him a gun, which is a pretty crazy thing to do. I think, the question is out there of how did he know that it was Hans Gruber? Because he gives him a gun but doesn't load it. And then immediately Hans tries to shoot him as he turns around. Then classic banter back and forth. And then click, oh, gun's done. Gun's empty. And then what I like, too, is that the timing of, it's good timing that the henchmen come right there. But it's like, okay, when you set up these close scenes, you get the banter. How are they going to, break away? And it's like, all right, perfect. All right, these guys come, shoot. Lots of shooting and no reloading, which is classic 80s movie. I mean, I was trying to count how many bullets, and I just lost track. I was like, this is a 100-round magazine on literally all these guns.
I think I saw one reload, maybe two,
maybe,
and that's really pushing it. That scene too, I think, encapsulates what you're saying earlier of the really good writing too, because the henchman coming up, it does not feel like it's ex machina. No, it does not feel exactly. Oh, we have to do this just to save. It's like, no, everything's been set up to where this is completely believable that this is actually what they would do, which is one of those, it's a really hard thing to do, to not just make your bad guys just dumb and oh, shoot, we wrote ourselves in a corner and they just kind of have to appear. It's no, actually the timing of everything. Okay. Yeah. It would have been about that much time. And okay, now they come up and, get the jump, and then you separate them, which is really masterful to have, Bruce Willis and Alan Rickman, and to get them in a scene together in the middle of the movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. You never see that where the two are going to find a way to be talking and in a relatable way. Here's Bill Clay, just some random guy, and the audience knows what's happening, and you're waiting. That tension is there to figure out what is going to happen with this. And at that point, you legitimately know. You're halfway through the movie, so probably one of them's going to die, but you're not 100% sure how it might go at that scene right there. Mm-hmm. So you set up tension for later in the movie when they're going to be, presumably doing this again at some point. But it's believable to push through, and and then even as ridiculous as the shootout after that was, because they're just machine gun, shoot out the glass, and it's just so much machine gun fire. Even him being well, shoot out the glass is kind of they're making smart decisions. It's not just, oh, he runs away, shoot, he gets away. And then in some movies, it's just kind of all right, we don't go after him again or anything. And it them focusing on it, him sneaking away, it all kind of makes sense. And then at the same time, I kept thinking if they just left, they just shot out the glass and left, they could do that. They got other stuff to do. They could leave someone down there. I don't know. There was a lot of ways you can go. It all made sense to me within the movie. It wasn't ex machina. It wasn't so contrived where you're just kind of this is annoying within the world that you've built already.
Yep.
It all worked really well.
I agree. It worked really well. And this scene specifically that we're talking about, to me, that's the second dad fight of the movie. and I say it's the dad fight because, they're not doing the wind up punch. Okay, wind up, you punch me. But that's because they have guns.
Yeah.
And it's a dad fight with guns because they don't reload.
No.
Dads don't care about how many bullets are in their mag. Dads don't care to shoulder a gun and properly take aim and control their. No, we're just ripping.
Yeah.
We're in a movie. We're ripping all the bullets we got and a lot more, and we're running around, which is probably accurate. The lack of accuracy in the heat of a battle, but to me, this is quintessential dad fight with gun. We're just trying to survive. We're just shooting bullets. We're running around. We're trying to sneak away. We're shooting some more. It's it's chaos. There's no rhyme or reason to it. There's no like comms or, hey, you guys move that way. We're just, hey, we're sending it.
Yeah. The type of, you're asking who the type of people are that are not going to be wearing body armor but carrying a whole bunch of automatic weapons. It's the type of people to be hip firing just putting as much lead downfield as possible. And that's a great dad fight scene with guns. I mean, such a great take there, because how would you be doing it if it was just like some random guys? If we were put in that situation to be bad guys, if our lives went down such a bad path that we were needed to steal a whole bunch of bonds from Nakatomi Plaza, and that's just what happened in our life, that's how our henchmen would be shooting. If it was just a bunch of random dads, trying to assault a office building with a bunch of bonds, that's how we would be shooting. In the 80s. And actually now I think that maybe that's the sad part of the world we live in right now, is we'd have all the tactical gear. You could, get armor plate off Temu for like $20 and then have night vision and all those things. And it ruins things a little bit for you.
A little bit, but if we ever do venture into modern film, I'm sure we can find the dad fight of the Tactical, where they're just wearing the $20 Temu vest and the $180 nods that like they don't work.
Yeah, 2-barrel nods that are
they're going to give you a headache.
Yeah.
These things they're not even really real night vision. They're just they've got a green light on the inside like my kids have. Yeah. So I don't doubt that. I mean, I agree with you. We have lost some of that, but I think we could still find some modern examples of, okay, in the 80s, if we were these henchmen, our training montage would line up with our characters. We'd be, oh my gosh, we got MP5s. Dude, let's go shoot some straw hay bales and just kind of unload. Like, oh, that was sweet. All right, cool, we're ready. That's our training montage. And so we get into action. Our training kicks in. We're shooting. We're shooting the whole. Hay bale. We're shooting everything we can. Doesn't matter. Is it our target?
It doesn't matter.
We got HK MP5s. Let's just have a good time.
We have superior firepower.
Right.
We got just multiple angles of fire, just on down to one guy hiding behind a desk.
I probably would yell out suppressing fire.
Yeah.
But not because not because that's an actual useful communication, but it just sounds cool.
Isn't that when you're supposed to be reloading? Which doesn't happen.
No.
It's all suppressing fire. I need suppressing fire for my suppressing fire, and that's just what's gonna happen. Yeah. Some of my other favorite parts of this movie are Agent Johnson and Johnson, this is the part of this movie where you're not expecting comic relief necessarily in certain scenes, and then you just get it, and you're like, yes. Because Hans is so serious. They could play the serious the entire way, but they don't. They let you go. They let him be the straight man, and everybody else kind of... I mean, of course, the Germans being the straight people in the movies is perfect, right on the nose for the time.
Yep.
The Berlin Wall had not fallen yet when this movie was made and came out. Throw that out there. So East Germany was still a threat to the world, for whatever that means. So them being there was the straight guy, but the comic relief of, whether it be Carl Weathers or Al or whatever we're going to call him, the Argyle, the
limo driver.
I mean, there's some good, funny guys throughout the whole thing, but Agent Johnson and Johnson being the not straight guy,
Yeah. Okay. FBI here. It's very unexpected.
Yeah. Well, the FBI showing up is very expected.
Yeah,
there's always
right.
You got to have the local cops, and then this is what happened in The Fugitive. It's like classic government agency, and in the end, all they could do was blow up on a rooftop, and their lasting legacy was, I guess we're going to need some new FBI agents, which is too bad, because you had the other two guys in the helicopter coming up. That one caught me so off guard. It was like, oh yeah, this is exactly like Vietnam. Isn't that right? I was in junior high, dickhead. Yeah.
I like that gave me a double take, and I was like, that again, it's the unexpected comedic relief of like, hey, we're in the middle of this, epic battle.
Yeah.
And these guys are just like, yeah, Vietnam. Like, whoa.
Well, yeah, that's still fresh in the minds of everybody.
Yeah.
Is, Vietnam, yeah. But they were perfect comic relief. Then the other person, actually, I'll say this. This movie had some side bad guys that are just like deplorable characters that just kind of are thrown in there. And you're just like, man, this person is distracting me from hating the real bad guys because... Listen up, Ellis, trying to steal McClane's wife. I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like how you talk. I don't like what you're about. I just don't like you as a person, Ellis. And you're trying to steal our guy's girl? No.
Can't have it.
Yeah, and then he gets his in the end, coming up and thinking he can negotiate with the terrorists. I mean, he does $1 million deals all day, baby, and but he can't.
He's still a little coked out, and
Yeah.
he thinks, hey, I got this. Let's bring this McClane character in. I'll take care of him. I'll get his wife. It'll happen.
That's his plan. That is 100% his plan. He played that out as they're sitting there waiting for the terrorists to go around. He's in his head. He is like,
I've got it.
I know what I got to do here. I'm going to get the deal. I'm going to get the girl. It's going to be a great day for old Ellis.
Which, maybe that's good enough to say, hey, kids, don't do cocaine. You're not thinking clearly. You don't have leverage on these guys.
There was a whole commentary on the whole drug use in the 80s. This is what's going to happen to you if you were that guy doing coke. Because the only guy doing coke in the movie is one of the worst people. So,
like, he's the only hostage that dies, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, other than Mr. Takagi or Takagi.
True.
Yeah.
True.
I mean,
he's their mark. He's their mark.
Yeah, he's their mark. Yeah. So,
yeah,
he's the only hostage who dies. Yeah. And no one was too sad about that. But it raises the stakes again, too. It's like, okay, he's willing to just blast people away if they're going to come and be dumb.
And you see it, too, play out. Like, McClane knows exactly what's going to happen because he saw it happen to a much more important character with Takagi.
Yep.
And it's like, hey, buddy, you don't know what you're doing. Like, I don't care what you think you're doing. And it's funny to have everyone else know what's going to happen to him except for him.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So he was a great side bad guy who wasn't a bad guy, but also you didn't like him. And then the reporter dude who was a big portion of. It pushed the movie along because he was out there trying to get the story, telling Hans that McClane's wife is McClane's wife, and then you're going to the residence of the hostages and you're harassing their kids and their maid, trying to deport them. I mean, what, like, just a solid dude. And you're like, why? I was like, why is this person in here? And I just don't like him. Can he get a body dropped off the building on top of him? That would be good.
That might actually be the only like loose end that needed cleaning up. That maybe in my head I just assume John takes care of it off camera.
Well, he does get punched in the face.
Oh yeah, you're right.
At the end, yeah,
you're right. I forgot that.
Yeah. So that it is clean. You kind of want. I mean, you've seen what bad characters can get elsewhere, so you're like,
okay.
Hopefully, you
punch
get
in the
fired.
face.
Punch in the face by the girl is in the 80s was a big deal. You don't want to get punched by a girl in the 80s.
No.
That's pretty bad for you. That might have ruined his acting career after that because I was trying to look up where that guy was. Not doing much.
Or maybe it was because he wasn't a very good actor.
Oh, also a good point too. Because but he acted well enough for me to dislike him.
True.
And he wasn't supposed to be the bad guy, but I was like, stop harassing the maid, bro.
Yeah, I would put that up. Yeah, a good portion of that's acting. I think a good portion of that's writing. Like the writers sent the reporter there. Yeah. It wasn't him.
What's that guy? So I'm already still fired up about this guy, Richard Thorne, something in the movie. I don't know.
He is a big Richard.
He is a big Richard.
Okay, what's your favorite one-liner? The whole movie. You can only pick one.
The one that got me the most this walkthrough was when the guy's falling or when Hans Gruber's falling, he's like, "Hope that's not a hostage." It's that cop, the sheriff, whoever that guy with the Breakfast Club principal.
Yeah.
I laughed. I hope that's not a hostage.
Like
that was
very unnecessary.
Yeah.
Everyone's thinking it.
Yeah.
He said it out loud.
He said it out
Good
loud.
for you, buddy.
He let the intrusive thoughts win. What was your? You touched on some good one-liners, but what was yours?
I think it's got to be the helicopter guy. That was the thing that made me like audibly laugh. And it wasn't, he's like, just like Saigon. Yeah. I was in junior high.
Yeah.
Just as like, okay, this guy is really like out of his mind, has no care for his surroundings, doesn't know the people around him. He's in it to win it.
Yeah. Which even like them walking up to, I thought it was funny that Agent Johnson is, it's like, I'm Agent Johnson, this is Special Agent Johnson. I would have thought that would have been the other way around, but not for Special Agent. He's special. He's special.
Yeah. So those, the FBI scenes, great. There's so many good one-liners in this movie.
Well, okay. So what was when you heard Yippee-Ki-Yay? You were I'm sure you were waiting for it. You knew about Yippee-Ki-Yay before this movie. You were waiting for it to happen. How to hit you when it did.
I think it was, again, great writing.
Yeah.
Because it's not just some random phrase he pulls out of nowhere. He's talking about Hans, about Western heroes, and is like, oh, who are you? It works so well. I think that was the surprising part, was like, it wasn't just in there for the sake of being in there. It wasn't just a cute one-liner for the sake of cute one-liners. It was a rooted one-liner in the character, in the scenes. And I think it makes a lot more sense why everyone knows that line, if you've seen Die Hard or not.
Yeah.
Because it works so well.
And then in the later Die Hard movies, it's kind of shoehorned in. It's like yippee-ki-yay, then explosion. That's kind of how you would expect it to happen. But it is just, it kind of works within the film. I was doing some research on it. It was improvised by Bruce Willis at the time, just because they were talking about cowboys, and he just like said it, and then it was so good they kept it in. Which
good choice.
So many of those, I'm sure as we go through all these movies and you find these good one-liners, it's like, well, how did that get in there? Was that really written in there? Most of the time, not. It's an actor understanding his character and letting loose on it. I
think I disagree. I think it comes down to good writing, because without the good writing to set up, hey, what are we talking about? It puts the right environment for the actor to add to it.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of movies with if they go into it like, hey, we're just gonna like pull funny stuff out of thin air. It doesn't really work like that. You got to have good writing. And I think there's a lot of movies with really, really good writing, really strong characters, and then they let the actors in certain areas like, hey, just go wild, Will Ferrell or John C. Reilly or some of these actors who are really well trained. I would say maybe one of those actors I just mentioned is really well trained, John C. Reilly. But to me, it's a fact. It's an artifact of solid writing that, hey, we can do this. That then produces a chance for an amazing actor, Bruce Willis, to, hey, let's drop a yippee-ki-yay on them.
Well, and I mean, it probably does matter who the actor is feeling it. When you look at someone like Christian Bale, who's like in the character so much that it's like they may know the character almost better than the writers at some point. And even in The Fugitive, the script wasn't done when they started, right? And so they were writing it as it was happening, and they were needing Tommy Lee Jones to kind of fill in some of those more memorable points. You're right in that the scene has to be set, because if everything else is garbage and then you get a couple yippee-ki-yays in there, it stands out because everything else is so clean and done well. It's like when that hits in there, or the Saigon, or hope that's not a hostage thing. Those hit so much harder because everything else was really well done,
really crisp. And the Fugitive is a good example too, because that's probably one of an example of the movie where there's a lot of ad lib, a lot of improvised dialogue that worked. I think that's maybe more of an exception, and I think I think those exceptions stand out a little bit more on our minds because they are so much fun, especially when you get a lot of one-liners. A quotable movie means a memorable movie, really, at least for one of us. How many of these lines did you remember were even in this movie?
I legitimately looked them up after. I cannot remember movies lines. Like I literally had to be watching it this morning before I was coming over here. I'm like, all right, what are some of the best one-liners in there? I just watched the movie. I'll forget it as soon as I walk out of that movie. It's probably a problem. Like later in life, this is going to be a real big deal where I can't remember something my kids say, and I'll walk out and they'll be like, Dad, I just told you that. And I'm like, no.
Sorry.
I'll remember the scene. You show me one picture of any place in Nakatomi Plaza, I'll be like, Die Hard. I already know where it is. The lighting, the camera, everything. I got that locked in my brain. But if you're like, hey, that line, we were watching a movie, we walk out, and you're like, man, that line. You'll say a line, not context. I'll be like, oh yeah, what movie is that from? And you'll be like, the one we literally just walked out of. It's a problem for me. So
was that a problem for 18, 19-year-old Dave who was buying these DVDs?
Yeah. I wasn't there. Well, it was probably less of a problem 20 years ago than it was today. But it's been a problem with me for my entire life of not remembering movie lines, and then when you're around someone who's good at it, makes it really known. They're like, I have coworkers who just mess with me all the time and be like, say it. I'm like, I'll know that's a movie line. I'll know that's from something. I don't know what it's from. It's a problem. You could probably mess around with me.
I can't wait to start just dropping those lines in. And
you could be pulling lines
fall so flat, and no one's gonna know. Maybe the audience.
Yeah.
Shout out to the audience. Because that was my experience. Like in high school, it's like we're just quoting movies that we saw all the time. Well, and I can imagine that being like, hey, we just saw, like Step Brothers, and I'm hanging out with the boys, and like, did we become best friends? And you're like, I mean, what? Sure. Like, what is that from something?
And the time to get me is like right after I watched, because with Step Brothers, I've seen it enough times, and I've had it drilled into my head. I have to do extra work. I got to do my homework for
put in the reps.
Got to put in the reps for the real good movies. I'm like, someone's quoting this movie a lot. I'm like, all right, okay, I gotta ChatGPT or Google AI, just being like, hey, what are the best one-liners from this movie, so I can really know that I'm gonna get it.
Well, if we have a time travel device, I'll go back and tell 19-year-old Dave, you can go to imdb.com, and they've got a list of quotes.
Was that always back in?
That's what I used to do. Because
that's a good.
Because a lot of for me, it was the opposite problem. It's like I knew there were movie quotes, and I could just lock those in because I also could tell, hey, that's a movie quote that I need to know. I wasn't allowed to watch these movies.
Yeah.
So I would then go back and do the research and like, okay, I know all these quotes. I've been throwing around with my friends for weeks. What movie is this from? What are the characters in the scene? Oh, okay. Yeah. And then I would just scroll through, there's a couple different sites that have, movie quotes and IMDb, and I would just scroll through like, oh, that sounds funny. Like, I'm going to lock that in so people think that I saw that movie.
It's what's funny, and I'm laughing about this right now because I know within this movie collection, within the box of DVDs, there's going to be some really bad, like we have some 2 high water marks within the first couple episodes here of quotable movies.
Yep.
There's going to be some shenanigans and
can't wait.
Not great writing, which is we have 2 pretty well written movies with some great one-liners. I feel like it's going to be the opposite when some of these other movies roll.
It's going to be good.
Roll down the pipe.
Okay. We've waited long enough.
We have.
David.
Yeah.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
It is a Christmas movie. I am well on the record stating that this is a Christmas movie.
Okay.
You have Christmas redemption arcs. If you were, like, I'll set the stakes right here, right now. If you're going to argue that it's not a Christmas movie, then Home Alone is not a Christmas movie. Christmas Vacation is not a Christmas movie. Because there are lots of elements of those movies that don't have to happen at Christmas. Kevin could have been left any time during the year. It makes it better because it is at Christmas. And the Christmas spirit and everything makes it better. The reunion at the end in the church for them, it's good. The reunion for John McClane and Holly would not have been as good if it wasn't on Christmas. If Christmas morning wasn't the next day, they were getting to go home Santa's going to be there, all the presents under the tree. It makes it better. And why is everyone there? And no one else in the building's there. Well, it's a holiday party. And, everyone else is going away for Christmas. All the cops want to be out for Christmas. It just sets it up well that it has to be at Christmas. It doesn't work unless it's during Christmas. And you get the festive cheer. You get Christmas songs throughout the movie. It's a Christmas movie.
You're so wrong.
I'm not.
Because I thought coming into this movie, there's this raging debate. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? And I thought, man, I'm going to have to pick a side. You know what my side is, David? I want to just continue the argument forever.
Okay.
I don't want to put it to bed at all. I think it's more fun to just continue to add fuel to the fire and continue the debate and not settle it.
I mean, you just want, you're just like hard stake. I'm going to be wrong right now. Third episode in, bad take.
Yeah.
Flag staked
it's
in.
not, it is set at Christmas. The setting is Christmas. There's nothing Christmassy about it. The guy's on a murdering spree through Nakatomi Plaza, and he's supposed to be the good guy. That's not Christmas.
He's redeemed it then. He's redeeming cops.
No.
See, justice is happening to the people it needs happening to, and he gets a girl at the end.
And the thing is, Home Alone's not a Christmas movie either. It just happens to be set in the Northern Hemisphere in winter around Christmas. It's in the setting.
This okay. Actually,
So-
I see what's happening here.
So,
It's because it's California.
well,
This is a Midwest,
Yeah.
East Coast bias
this
happening.
probably is. You're right.
right here.
So, we're not. I can't settle. Is it a Christmas movie? I know where you stand. You know where I'm just in it for the fight. I'm a dad fight. So like, if we can make this into a dad fight, I'm down. But what I'll ask you, if you had to pick one that's a Christmas movie and one that's not a Christmas movie, Home Alone or Die Hard, which one's a Christmas movie? Which one's not? You got to choose.
I mean, okay. I
gotta
hate
pick-
I
I
hate
know.
this question right now because yes, I do have to choose. I understand it, and I understand that Home Alone leans more into some Christmas things, but this is. I didn't realize that this was your argument fully. That it wasn't snowing. Like that's all of your argument that I heard was it wasn't snowing during it. And it's like, yeah, it's because California's a great place and doesn't snow. That's your whole argument for this thing. It wasn't snow. If it was snowing the entire time, I know that it's going to be a little bit different. If California wanted to put Christmas lights on the outside of Nakatomi Plaza, but they don't celebrate Christmas in Japan. This is you're missing all of the cultural aspect here. You're missing, climate, and you're unfairly pushing this out of the Christmas box. And I understand that Christmas means family. And did I have thoughts about putting my family down and sitting them and making them watch this movie? I did. I thought about my 3-year-old watching this movie. I think she could have enjoyed it. I think my 3-year-old would have enjoyed it maybe too much, which is why I didn't do it. But I thought about it, and I realized I couldn't. So in that way, it's not as family friendly as other Christmas movies. But
Sure, a Christmas movie doesn't have to be family friendly. I also honestly didn't realize that the snow was my real big breaking point.
Yeah.
And you're right to point that out. But I'm going to hold you to the fire. You got to. This is not a final be all end all, but for the thought experiment, what's more of a Christmas movie?
Home Alone is more of a Christmas movie because there's more Christmas elements. I mean, just barely though, just barely. I mean, I don't like the choice. And if you're ranking what's the most Christmas movies, I don't want to rank what the most Christmassy Christmas movie is. There's Christmas movies, and I like some more than others. Die Hard is more entertaining because, Elf doesn't have Hans Gruber. It's got a lot of great things. It might be my second favorite Christmas movie, but it doesn't have, it's got great writing, but it doesn't have all the different elements which we haven't even talked about all the squibs and lack of CGI in this. When people are getting shot and you have red cornstarch getting sprayed all over the place, that's that makes me nostalgic, just like at Christmas when I get nostalgia for lots of things. So
I will agree with you that I did come out of this movie thinking if I got the boys over sometime in December, this is the Christmas movie that we're going to pop in. Like I know not everyone likes Elf, not everyone can enjoy the Christmas spirit. This kind of hits both, where it's like, hey, you just want an action movie? Great. You want a Christmas movie? Okay, we can slide this one in there.
Also, okay, so then I do have to ask the question of what is your favorite Christmas movie to go to?
For me, I've got to watch Elf once for it to be like, okay, we did it with Christmas. I think the other thing for me, it comes back to nostalgia and tradition. One of the things I love doing is kind of like movie marathons around Christmas. Okay. So my wife and I have done a couple like Lord of the Rings marathons at Christmas. We've also done Star Wars marathons at Christmas.
Whoa.
And it's like, I enjoy doing that because you know, when before kids we had, you know, hey, a week off work. Hey, we got some hours. Let's do it. Let's watch 3, 4, 5 movies in a row. You know, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is equivalent of about 5 movies. So that fits the bill. You know, it's cold outside. It's, you know, snowed in. Let's get, you know, some hot coffee or some cocoa and let's see Frodo. Yeah. Just go on a journey of 1,000 miles.
I will point out there are 4 of these things. So if you wanted a Die Hard movie marathon, it's all. I mean, there's 4 John Wicks. There's 4 Die Hards, and that's equivalent to 1 Lord of the Rings movie. I understand that, but especially if you're director's cutting it, or you?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I've never seen.
You haven't,
aside from the theaters, the theater cut. Only extended editions here.
I don't think I have. I don't have Lord of the Rings in the box, so
that's fine.
That's a sad day, but
that's okay.
Also, don't have any Christmas movies other than this one in the box either. So we were kind of shoehorned into this one a little bit. So
all right, good. Well, let's we find out what are we watching next.
Well, I did have one more question.
Okay,
before we do this, I think you can wrap it up fast. Something else I like to do. Can we score Hans Gruber on a 1 to 10 villain score, knowing that there's other villains that are going to be coming in the box? There's a whole box of villains because Dave needed some villains in his movie, other than Jackass, I guess. Sure. Johnny Knoxville's a villain. Let's be honest about that.
Yeah,
and he gets a 6. So, but what would you rank Hans Gruber on your villain scale?
So what sort of criteria are we ranking our villains on? Just
okay, that's a good call. How smooth are they? Do you buy that they're a believable villain?
Believable.
How evil are they? I mean, throwing their motives for there. How good are their motives for doing their bad things? And then, do they look like a villain? Looks.
Okay, so he certainly has the motive, trying to get the money.
Yeah.
I don't totally know why.
Well, no, that's well in the 80s you just wanted money.
And sure.
Good investing. Well, he did mention that they want to be sitting on a beach enjoying their 20% returns. Unclear how that. I mean, 20% returns, just not explained at all. But apparently that's what happened in the 80s.
He's allegedly going to just get all these bonds and then YOLO them onto the stock market.
I guess.
With some options.
Untraceable. Well, that's
untraceable.
I mean, that's what they.
And yet, 20% returns. Again, he's connecting some dots that we don't see on screen. Fair enough.
Yeah.
He's got the motive. He wants the money. Maybe not the best motive of all time, but his believability and like actions all line up. He looks like the villain. He's got, you know, the mustache, the goatee. He's got he's better dressed than everyone else. Yeah. He's got an expensive suit. Yeah. It shows you he's in charge. You know, he's got a small pistol. That's it. He's not heavy laden with armament. Any villain that's heavy laden, you know, okay, they're not super serious.
Yeah, they're not a serious person.
No.
Because they have henchmen for that.
Right.
You just need one gun to shoot someone when you're trying to make a point.
Yep. So I mean, we might have to come back and re-review this once we get through a lot of villains and do a tier list. But this guy, for me, he's got to be A or S tier, probably like an 8, 9.
Yeah. You can't go 10 yet.
No.
You can't go 10 yet.
The motive isn't perfect.
It's not perfect.
And I think very few villains have those like motives. It's like, oh yeah, I mean, I kind of get his point.
Yeah.
He's going about it in ways that I wouldn't agree with, or it's fundamentally, on fundamentally incorrect grounds about reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wants some money and some returns.
Yeah.
That's
he
relatable.
He wants to sit on a beach. I want to sit on a beach. I can relate on that level. Do I have to blow up Nakatomi Plaza? I mean, I don't have the skill set for that, to be honest. That's probably
True.
Probably it. Also, the evil side. Pretty sure I can't shoot someone in the face in cold blood for codes.
Yeah.
I think I know myself well enough to know that that's not
Probably
it's
more,
not how I operate. I didn't grow up in East Germany
True.
under the communist.
I see myself more as I would have wanted the MP5 too much. And so I was like, yeah, I'm good with that.
The train, I am picturing this training montage that where
We're just shooting bullets into the ground, and it's a lot of fun. We're having a great time.
Side note, there was a roll that one of the bad guys did during the movie when he's like under the table and he's like backing away, and that bad guy like performed a roll to get on the table, and I was like, nice. Like that's properly setting the stakes. But for Hans, yeah, he's definitely 8 or 9. The British got to be British. That's going to be probably if we once we flesh out this villain kind of ranking system, that's going to be a 5 points to that, But definitely 8 or 9. I loved him, and watching it again, Alan Rickman is great as a villain. Like there's just some people who are born to be villains, and he is definitely one of them. And then satisfying enough when he drops off a building. Yeah,
it is the payoff.
The payoff.
That's how you know he's a good villain.
And that's how you wrap up a movie. Well, actually, they had another villain come up and die, but the villain has to die at the end, nice and clean. We can walk away.
We did it. You even get some great symbolism too, because he's hanging on to McClane's wife's Rolex, the symbol of her job and her promotion, and that's the one thing keeping this whole thing together and this whole thing apart. And drop the Rolex. Okay.
Drop the
job. We're back. We're a McClane.
Yeah.
Everything's good.
You assume that they live happily ever after.
They for sure do, right?
Just like all Christmas movies should.
That's what Die Hard 2, 3, 4, and 5 are about, right? How they sail off into the sunset enjoying their 20%.
We're not reviewing Die Hard 2, 3, or 4.
As you might know, astute listener who has seen any of the other Die Hards, I have not seen them. Okay, that's Die Hard. Hey, everyone, thanks so much for being here.
Yep.
I hope you have a wonderful Christmas, a happy holidays, happy New Year. And if you're listening to this in 2026, we're glad you're here too.
Absolutely.
We're glad you're here too. You can find us right now on Spotify. We also publish a little bit on Substack as well. If you want to follow along with some text, maybe that's where we'll put some of our villain rankings.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
And that's it.
Yeah. Stay tuned. I'm David Winkler.
And I'm Jonathan Lind. That's been What's in the DVD Box.